Welcome to Khanversations. I'm Muqtedar Khan, your host, and today I'm going to talk about the arrest of Lieutenant General Faiz Hameed, who is the former DGI of Pakistan's spy agency, ISI. And this is perhaps the first time that the army has arrested its own former head of intelligence. The former head of intelligence, Faiz Hameed, Lieutenant General Faiz Hameed, is a three-star general, and he was clearly held one of the most powerful positions in Pakistan. ISI is like a state within a state, and he was essentially the head of the deep state in Pakistan for 2 years, from 2019 to 2021. I also think that Lieutenant General Faiz Hameed played a very important role in essentially pushing the United States out of Afghanistan and basically helping the Taliban win Afghanistan back from the United States. So he has been arrested. He's being charged with corruption in some land and development deals. So we're going to talk about that today. But before that, subscribe to Khanversations, press the bell icon, like this video, and don't forget to share this video with others. So the first thing that I want to essentially point out that this is part of the ongoing, shall we say, campaign that General Asim Munir has been waging against Pakistan's Tehreek-e-Insaf, the PTI, Imran Khan's party. Imran Khan himself has spent more than a year in prison right now. They are throwing all kinds of cases at him. And I think eventually even Lieutenant General Faiz Hameed is probably going to provide more information and intelligence, which will then lead to further cases against him as well as against Imran Khan. So clearly, this is part, as I see it, this is a part of an ongoing campaign against Pakistan, Tehreek-e-Insaf, and Imran Khan himself. But in this discussion, I also want to advance a kind of a rule of thumb kind of theory about corruption in Pakistan. And it is in that context I want to discuss as to why the army is arresting its own and prosecuting it so publicly. He's going to be court-martialed, and even though his arrest was ordered by the Supreme Court, this entire proceedings are being managed by the military. So going back, the salient facts are that Lieutenant General Faiz Hameed was very close to Imran Khan, and there was the whole dispute between General Bajwa, who was then the chief of army staff, and Imran Khan was essentially over who would succeed Mr. Bajwa. And Imran Khan wanted to basically bypass everybody and make Lieutenant General Faiz Hameed as the chief of army staff. And the army basically wanted to follow its own process. So one of the issues was this tension between Imran Khan and the army. And Imran Khan basically wanted to do what Erdogan did in Turkey, which is bring the military under the control of the civilian forces. So I think the main motivation for Imran Khan was to make sure that the army was dancing to his tune rather than he dancing to the army's tune, even though in 2018, Imran Khan was brought to power by the army. It was basically the army coming together. The joke was that Imran Khan was not elected, rather selected to be the prime minister of Pakistan. So he used the army to come to power. And once in power, he was trying to essentially ensure that the army served him and his interest and his political vision. Plus, Imran Khan's foreign policy, which was rabidly anti-West, especially anti-US, was something that the army was not very comfortable with. And so there were many reasons why they wanted to get rid of Imran Khan. But the most important reason, probably from an army's point of view, was that he was taking the country in a direction which did not suit the army. The army is trying to keep a balance between being pro-US and pro-China, especially at a time when US and China are at loggerheads. So one thing to keep in mind is that going after General Faiz Hameed is one way to not only take revenge on those in the military who sided with Imran Khan, because if you remember some of my earlier shows that I did, I said one of the things that Imran Khan had done was not only divided the country, but for the first time divided the military too. So there were those in the military who were with Imran Khan and those in the military who were with the military and against Imran Khan. Faiz Ahmed was the leader or the front runner of those who were with Imran Khan and played a role in dividing the military. So in that sense, they are going after him. This is a kind of a revenge for dividing the army. But I feel that this is also a way in which the army is disciplining those who have sidestepped, who have stepped out of the shall we say, the line of command, and to a great extent, by stepping out of the line of command, General Faiz Ahmed basically upset the brass, and the army is trying to fix it and probably make an example out of him so that nobody else tries this in the future. So my theory of corruption in Pakistan is that there are three kinds of corruption in Pakistan. Number one is the ordinary run-of-the-mill corruption in society, where a cop stops you and says, "Where's your license?" And you say, "Well, here is 5 rupees or 50 rupees. It looks like my license. You can have it." And the cop says, "You can go." So that is a normal corruption. You want to get into an institution, you want to go into medical school, you would bribe them. The principal of the particular school is taking bribes. So there's rampant corruption in the society. They call it upar ki kamai. It is basically like the gig economy. Like here we have people who have proper jobs and then they do gigs on the weekends. Well, in Pakistan, that is the gig economy, which is corruption, basically taking bribes. It's widespread. It's one of the most corrupt countries in the world. It often in the top 5 if you look at the transparency.org's index. Then the second type of corruption in Pakistan, which I think is one of the most detrimental of corruptions, is the political elite's corruption, where the prime minister, Mr. 10%, the president himself, is taking bribes. Every minister is taking bribes, but they're not just taking bribes, but they're also looting the state. So this is a different kind of corruption where they are basically subverting the rules of the country, bending the rules, getting around the constitution. So, for example, you use the powers of the state to give your a military unit some land, and then you build apartments, and you are a general in the army, but you are selling apartments, things like that. So the political elite of Pakistan is corrupt. It has robbed its state way, way more. So that's why Pakistanis are so surprised when they see generals in India and other parts of the world living very humble lives after retirement. General Bajwa himself apparently has a palatial house in France. How does a military officer, a government servant of an underdeveloped third world poor country find resources to buy mansions in rich countries in Europe? That is the kind of corruption, the second type of corruption. The third type of corruption is what I call a disciplined form of corruption. This is the corruption in the army. So often Pakistani generals and senior officers are corrupt, but their corruption is such that they want to make money using their position, but they do not undermine the integrity of the army and the national security establishment. So they're not jeopardizing Pakistan's national security. They're not making Pakistani army weak with regards to India or its other challenges that it may have. So while Pakistani military is corrupt, it is not corrupting and undermining the army itself. But what Imran Khan did in his attempt to discipline the army and bring it under civilian control is his attempt to bring about change not through institutional reforms but through personnel reforms. Like he didn't change the rules of arrangement because he was benefiting from it himself. So what he wanted to do was to make the army under the civilian command, not by changing the laws or constitution, etc., but by just changing the personnel. So if I have my man in the army, he will do what I want, so the army becomes mine. That was Imran Khan's method. That's why he wanted Faiz Hameed to become the next chief of the military. And of course, that backfired. Erdogan did it in a more institutional fashion. So whoever now becomes the president of Turkey, the army is subordinate to the civilian government in Turkey, unlike in the past. Imran Khan was not trying to do it that way, even though he didn't have the same stature that Erdogan enjoyed in Turkey. So what Imran Khan ended up doing was to bring two forms of corruption: the corruption of the political elite into the army. And so now you have two forms of corruption: the army corruption and the political elite corruption overlapping. And that is probably what Asim Munir is most worried about, that General Faiz Ahmed has done something that they should not do, which means it weakens Pakistan's deep state, or the state within the state, which is the military. It also allows a pathway in which the politicians can influence and manipulate the army, which they don't want. Only the army is allowed to manipulate and influence the political system, not the other way around. So in that sense, this attempt to arrest and prosecute Lieutenant General Faiz Hameed is, I see it as an attempt by General Munir and his senior staff to basically restore order inside the army, to restore discipline, and to make sure that the corruption of the political system does not mix with the corruption of the army and create problems for the army. So the army wants to remain corrupted. Don't get me wrong. We are not trying to eliminate corruption. It's not about the money he stole or whatever he did. It is about the challenge that he posed to the authority of the army, and allowing the prime minister to get involved in the promotion systems of the army, the ranks, and who becomes what. This is something that the army guards itself very strongly. So I think what you are seeing is a consequence of Pakistan's struggle between the civil establishment and the military establishment, the state and the deep state. So this, what you're seeing, is the tip of the iceberg. The arrest of the general is essentially tip of the iceberg. What you're seeing is a war between the state and the deep state. So we'll see more what happens, but I hope that I was able to provide some ideas and some thoughts and some insights into what's going on in Pakistan. And so please subscribe to Khanversation, like this video, press the bell icon, and don't forget to share this video with others. Until next time, I'm your host, Muqtedar Khan. Take care.